Positively Spiritual. My name is Shannon Gilmore. I am a peer support mentor. I'm here to help you unpack or help you see some problem areas in your life that maybe you are struggling with or you can't see. Now, on this video channel, we talk about narcissism, we talk about trauma, we talk about addictions, we talk about ego, we talk about the psychology of problem behavior. We also take a look at narcissism. We take a look at toxic relationships. We take a look at the spiritual and scientific aspects of what makes you tick. And we bring it all to you in 2 lives a day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock in the evening. So welcome. Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. Get in on the chat. And, all I ask is if you guys are commenting on the chat, can you just be kind? That's it. Just be kind. Hello, Resistor. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you all. Nice to see everyone here. How you doing? So, yes, tonight's video is we're going to be talking about testosterone, the fight between the ego and testosterone. This is a war within, and how to balance your inner power and live the divine masculine alignment. It's all about the Zen. No, not really. But hi, Cynthia. Nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. We're going to talk about this hormone, testosterone, because it's not just a hormone. It's kind of like a language. It's the body's sacred code for creation, for courage, and for purpose. So welcome, everyone. How you doing? Grab a seat. You're going to want to learn. You're going to want to listen to this one because it's going to be interesting. Because testosterone, it speaks through our drive, our passion, our willingness to act, and we can have a healthy balance. We can have an unhealthy balance. When we feed the body with pure, whole foods, we're not only nourishing ourselves, but also honoring the very temple through which divine energy flows. Because what you eat is helpful to regulate those testosterone levels. As we age, we lose testosterone. Yes, that is, well, it's kind of a myth because there are ways that you can increase your levels and maintain your levels. And yes, as we age, it is true we lose testosterone, but only because we're sedentary and we don't live a healthy lifestyle. Many of us, as we age, we have our specific foods that we eat. We don't have a variety of foods and we don't eat healthy. And we eat too much of a good thing, not enough of this, a little more of that, not enough of that. And we don't exercise. So many of us are stuck inside all day long with the jobs that we lead. So we're not getting the sunshine that we need. So we're going to go through that today. When we sleep well, when we move with intention, when we choose foods that come from the earth rather than factories, we are actually aligning our physical fire, the testosterone, with divine purpose. Because when testosterone is nourished, when you have healthy levels in you, testosterone gets a bad rap, it's the of men, the aggression of men, but it gets a bad rap because when testosterone levels are balanced, it doesn't seek dominance, it seeks direction. It does not crave attention, it desires expression. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the role testosterone has, not just within our bodies, but also within our souls, because it has everything to do with the ego. Oh yeah. It's a sacred hormone that bridges the flesh with the divine And it is something that you yourself can control by maintaining a balance, a healthy balance of self-control through righteous living. So I invite you guys all to get comfy as we will journey together as we discover how testosterone can subdue the ego. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So testosterone isn't just a sex hormone. It's what is called a neurosteroid, meaning it directly affects your brain chemistry, your mood, and your cognition. It influences motivation, confidence, focus, and even spiritual drive. But too much of it, or too little, throws the entire system off balance. So just before I get into this right now, I just remembered that I have a special request for you guys. Can you guys join together and offer your prayers in your private time? Offer prayers up for a visitor, a sister in arms here. She is going through she's had a tough day, and I'm not going to share what she's going through. I'll leave her to tell you that. But she needs our prayers, Andrea, or Andrea, the goose mother. She's had a rough day, and she needs some protection, and she needs some guidance, and she needs some comfort. So let's just keep her in our prayers and offer her comfort and, just the peace. She needs peace. So she's okay. I'm not going to say that, I don't want you guys to worry. She's okay. Her health is fine. She's safe. But there's just some emotional things that she's going through right now that she needs our prayer. So thank you, everyone. So with testosterone, it influences motivation, confidence, our focus, and even our spiritual drive. So understand that, my goodness, like testosterone plays a huge role in our spirituality. So let's go through this. The testosterone and the brain. See, testosterone interacts with several key systems in the brain. There's the dopamine system. This dopamine system, boosts our motivation, reward, and goal-seeking behavior. Oh, and with a healthy level of testosterone, our ambition is increased. Our focus is focused. And we have this drive to achieve. But if it's too high, then it can create impulsivity, aggression, and risk-taking without foresight. Kind of sounds like a narcissist, doesn't it? Hello, James. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, everyone. Welcome. And then there's the serotonin regulation, which modulates our mood stability with a healthy level of testosterone. This improves our confidence, where we chase fear, but it's not in the way of, it's we step out in confidence to, do what needs to be done. We don't give in to the fear. And with the healthy levels of testosterone, we have this assertiveness and we have optimism. The ego, oh my gosh, it is so negative. There is no optimism, barely seen. And oh my gosh, we're going to get into that, the ego versus the testosterone here in just a minute. But when testosterone levels are too high, this can lower empathy and emotional connection. You guys, I know you're going to see the narcissist in this. Wow. So there's also amygdala regulation. This heightens the response to threat or competition. Now, healthy levels of testosterone encourages courage and protective or not protective, but protection, the willingness to protect others, protection instincts, but it's too high, well, this fuels dominance and territorial aggression, like get off my lawn, so to speak. And in the prefrontal cortex, we have testosterone levels that are high actually help with the reasoning and empathy and long-term decision making. Now, in healthy levels of testosterone, this is going to enhance our focus and our willpower, our tenacity to go the distance. But if they're too high, the emotional brain, the limbic system, can override logic, leading to ego-driven behavior. Dun, dun, dun. There's the smoking gun. So in essence, testosterone can expand or shrink your awareness depending on your level of self-mastery. The ego feeds on excess testosterone because it craves dominance and validation. I'm experiencing more activity around me. I put up privacy screens and all of a sudden massive drive-bys. Ooh, they want to know what you're doing, what secrets you're holding. I'm being gang stalked. Oh my goodness. Hey, Sag, how you doing? Aggression is cortisol, not testosterone. Reading from a book. No, you can look at it. It's both. There's several different hormones, and right now I'm focusing on testosterone because it has everything to do with the ego. But cortisol and testosterone combined. So look that up. So in men, effects of high testosterone, there's the physical symptoms, which is acne and oily skin, hair loss due to DHT conversion. That's a type of hormone. And then there's the elevated red blood cell count. This is where the thickening of the blood raises risks of clots and heart attacks. You can have sleep apnea, testicular shrinkage. On the mental and emotional level, this increases aggression or irritability if the testosterone levels are too high. This reduces impulse control. So the person becomes extremely impulsive. There's a heightened libido to the point of compulsion, narcissistic or risk-taking behavior, difficulty with emotional intimacy. Now, when testosterone dominates without balance from oxytocin, the love hormone, or serotonin, the peace neurotransmitter, it turns manhood into egohood. Strength without wisdom is dangerous. Now, in women, oh yes, women have testosterone just as much as, just not as much, but just as the same as men have estrogen. Women do have testosterone, but not as much as men, obviously. But high testosterone in women cause irregular or absent menstrual cycles, acne and excessive facial and body hair, deepened voice, thinning scalp hair, increased muscle mass, ovarian cysts, and increased competitiveness and aggression, also seen in narcissistic women. There's mood swings and irritability. So if a woman is, on her cycle and she becomes aggressive, it might have something to do with those testosterone levels. There's a decrease in empathy, and there is a potential for suppression of nurturing or emotional expression. So women need testosterone for drive and strength, but they thrive when it's harmonized with estrogen and progesterone, which support intuition, connection, and compassion. Hey, Mr. Osgood. Hello, Lindsay. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hello, everyone. I broke my lease after leaving. It was so expensive. Oh my goodness, yeah. So the spiritual and mental role of testosterone, it fuels creation. It fuels the pursuit. Something that matters to you, you pursue that, the goal setting, just the tenacity, the drive to accomplish something. It's the fire of the soul. It's in a spiritual sense, it's the energy of action and assertion. And this is often associated with the divine masculine principle. Now, every person has the divine masculine and divine feminine in them, and there has to be a healthy balance. But when ruled by the ego, when testosterone is excessive, it becomes destructive as the ego uses it for control, lust, and pride, and all these negative feelings and negative attributes. The very things that God tells us to have self-control over. But when ruled by the Spirit, it becomes protective and purposeful. You become courageous. You step in the role of a leader, and you have this drive to serve and protect and defend and just see things through. We don't often think about this. We just go on our merry way, and we just take our vitamins and our, other minerals, and we try to eat as best as we can. But the truth of the matter is, it's important to balance the testosterone with your conscious awareness. Because fruit fly. Wow. Okay, so having mindful discipline with balanced testosterone levels gives us the drive to find our purpose, to seriously find our spiritual purpose and help one another, instead of seeking that egoic gratification. And the physical outlets to help regulate our testosterone levels are exercise, cold exposure, and fasting. And these can help monitor and regulate and create a healthy balance in our levels. Now, coupled with emotional intelligence, we can ground our ambition together with compassion and humility in order to serve and find meaning in life. So then there's prayer and meditation. This aligns with the masculine, the divine masculine perfectly. So understanding that there are ways that we can regulate our testosterone levels, even having proper rest and eating healthy. See, stress and poor sleep and not getting the right amount of vitamins and minerals and eating healthy, as these chemicals from the processed foods do play around with our hormonal levels, like they do. They cause an imbalance. So understand this, that in both genders, testosterone represents the yang to the divine feminine's yin. It's motion to stillness, order to flow. This is the duality. The testosterone is the motion, whereas the estrogen is the stillness. And there's order. It brings order to flow. It structures to the intuition that we engage in and we listen to. It's the spark that turns thought into form. It's what drives us, other than God, of course, but it's in our humanity. Testosterone is needed for a balanced spiritual life, a balanced physical life. So in men, testosterone is the biochemical mirror of purpose. It calls men to rise each day with intention. It calls them to protect which is sacred. It calls them to stand in integrity and direction. It causes them to face challenges with courage rather than avoidance. So when testosterone is balanced and spirituality is aligned, a man lives with clarity and conviction. His presence commands respect, not through dominance, but through certainty. He becomes a leader who serves, a warrior who guards peace. But when testosterone is ego-bound, that same power mutates. Drive becomes domination. Confidence becomes arrogance. Protection becomes control. Leadership becomes tyranny. So testosterone itself isn't the problem. It's consciousness is. Because without divine awareness, you can't see that you have a problem. You can't see that your testosterone levels are too high or too low. They're imbalanced. See, these testosterone levels in man is his fire that burns everything he touches, either, in a positive way, which is transforming, or if the ego gets hold of this, it can just ruin relationships, ruin the spiritual relationship a man can have with God and the spiritual relationship he can have with a woman or with anybody, even his children. So with divine awareness, that puts the divine masculine in his proper place. Now in women also carry divine masculine energy, and it needs to be regulated. It is regulated by testosterone. But testosterone plays a quieter role for us. It helps us to become assertive, to stand up for ourselves, and it helps us to stand in self-respect. It is what allows us to stand tall in boundaries and in our independence. We stand in leadership and we have this vision to drive and lead other people, especially our children. And it gives us the courage to speak our truth and walk in purpose and peace. And when balanced with estrogen and the divine feminine essence, which is receptivity, nurturing, intuition, testosterone gives a woman spiritual backbone. She can protect herself somewhat when a man is not able to. She's able to stand on the man's courage and step in and protect herself and be assertive. She has the strength to act upon her intuition instead of suppressing it and saying, I don't know. Did God really say? I don't know. I need somebody else to tell me what to do. I can't do it. I've been there. So testosterone, when it is overexpressed or emotionally fueled through the ego, it masks itself as self-sufficiency. That shuts out vulnerability. I can do it. Don't ask. If many of us who have been traumatized, we go through life where we don't ask for help. And if somebody offers us their help, we turn them down and say, no, if I need help, I'll ask for it, but I don't need help. I can do this. We take on the whole world on our shoulders, and we try to solve the world's problems, and we try to solve our own problems and other people's problems without any help. And this is when women, we armor up, protecting themselves from pain, but also from love. And this is where you will see a female narcissist, a femme fatale. Oh, she's brutal. She will, oh, she just, that masculinity within her is hijacked and weaponized, and she will just tear apart. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're male or female, she will tear apart your masculinity and make you feel lower than an ant. So watch out. So the divine masculine in women is meant to guard the heart, not harden it. But that's what happens when the ego gets a hold of it in men and women. It causes a hardened heart. So divine masculinity is not gender, it's function. It's the force that takes vision with feminine and births it into form through the masculine. The feminine and divine masculine within us, they marry each other to work as one. And without testosterone, that biochemical flame, vision within never materializes. There's constant fighting within us. This, the egoic nature within us fights the egoic nature within other people, and they fight with our egoic nature. And whoever is dominant, if the person that you're speaking with is dominant in their masculine energy, they're going to try to attack your masculine energy. So without divine consciousness, which is your spiritual compass, your awareness, the power within you loses purpose, as the power is shielded under a lampshade, and your ego becomes so overbearing and so controlling. But when there's balance, the mind becomes clear, the body becomes vital, the heart becomes steady, the soul becomes creative. And you don't chase outcomes, you embody direction. Hi, Andrea. Okay, email sent. All right. I asked everybody, we've got prayers sent for you, girl. We got prayers sent for you. We love you. Hugs to you, girl. I wish I lived closer to you. I'd be over right now making you tea or coffee, strong pot of coffee maybe, I don't know. But maybe I'd come over with some, what is it, espresso? Or what's the other strong Italian coffee? Yeah, keep you up all night. But we love you. We love you, girl. So when you're balanced in your testosterone, you then find your divine purpose is more easily accessible because it's not overshadowed by the ego. So you feel that stillness before action. You just let intention precede movement. You just, do what needs to be done without second guessing it. And there's integrity within your desire. You ask, does this serve the greater good, or is this just serving my ego? And then there's the sacred physicality of it. You train your body as a vessel for divine energy, not vanity. You don't sit there and adjust your tie and, dress for it. You dress for success, but look at how the narcissists dress. Everything's in fashion. They've got to keep up with the Joneses, and, they just have to have a million shoes, a million purses, and, that sounds like an exaggeration, but, yeah. I've met some people who hoard clothes and it's just bad. But anyways, you know, the ego serves vanity. And when there's a healthy balance, yeah, you want to look good, you want to smell good, you want to be presentable, but it's, you know, you don't spend 5 hours preening yourself. There's, you know that there's, your time can be better spent on other things. And when your testosterone levels are balanced, you actually are able to honor the feminine within you. It's not ignored. You honor the feminine within you and within others. You look at others with compassion and nurturing and empathy. And with these levels, you have this purpose-driven pursuit. You channel your testosterone into creation, not competition. Testosterone is the fuel. The divine masculine is the driver. Well, no, God is ultimately, but I mean, you know, and your consciousness, your awareness, the God within, well, he ensures that the journey leads to peace, not destruction. When both men and women align their inner testosterone with God's will, they become builders of light, warriors of wisdom, not war. So, how do we live in harmony with it? How do we live in harmony with proper testosterone levels so that, you know, we don't have dysregulated hormones, so that our egos just grab a hold on this hormone and cause us to, you know, dysregulate every ways to Sunday? Well, there's 2 layers to this, and I'm going to share these layers with you. Number 1 is the biological way to sustain healthy testosterone. And number 2, I'm going to share with you the spiritual or psychological way to keep it in divine alignment. So let's look at these layers. Number 1, eating and maintaining a healthy testosterone through eating healthy and living well. Testosterone production depends on metabolic health, micronutrient sufficiency, and hormonal stability. Now, here's how to keep it optimal. There is nutrition for testosterone. You can eat to optimize your testosterone levels. Broccoli, lettuce, you know, the green leaf, or what did they say? Your leafy greens. Nuts, avocados, certain types of oil. So if you have a balanced diet, you can actually maintain those testosterone levels. But the foundational nutrients we want to hone in on are zinc, as this is crucial for testosterone synthesis. And this is found in pumpkin seeds, oysters, grass-fed beef, lentils, beans. There's magnesium. Most people are deficient in magnesium, so keep those levels up, because this is good for your bone and muscle health, and it enhances the free testosterone and reduces the cortisol. So magnesium is found in spinach, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate. And then there's the vitamin D. Many women are anemic just because of, you know, the cycle. So vitamin D is technically a hormone, and it boosts testosterone and our moods. And how we get this is through sunlight and egg yolks, fatty fish, or supplements. There's the healthy fats. Cholesterol is the raw material for testosterone, including, like, we can get this from many different oils, including um, olive oil, avocados, nuts, pasture raised eggs, grass fed butter. And then there's the protein source. We have to have adequate sources of protein daily. An overabundance of protein is not healthy, but just have like a fistful at meals. That's a serving. So you can have your wild caught fish, you can have your lean meats, you can have your plant-based sources, chickpeas, tofu, lentils. Uh, it's just about healthy living or healthy eating, that's all. And so you want to eliminate or limit refined sugar, because this spikes insulin, and it actually lowers sugar, lowers testosterone. You want to limit and, well, let's try to eliminate these processed vegetable oils such as canola oil and soybean oil, as the oxidization in these tend to harm certain cells that aid in testosterone maintenance. And get rid of the alcohol, plastics, BPA, that um, that harms your endocrine system. It's BPA is endocrine disruptors that that mimic the estrogen, and yeah, so that can cause problems as well. So there has been studies shown that intermittent fasting actually helps regulate insulin and growth hormone, which helps with testosterone. And strength training 3 to 4 times a week naturally raises your testosterone. And getting enough sleep. You got to have that deep sleep, 7 to 9 hours. Most testosterone is produced during the REM cycles. Now, you can also get a hit of testosterone through cold showers, outdoor swims, as this boosts your testosterone. Let me say that again. It boosts your testosterone and your dopamine synergy, like as your dopamine and your testosterone do work together. Now, this is just, you guys can do your research. I didn't want to go too in depth with this because we could be here all night. And it's frankly, it can get boring. But that's in a nutshell. So you guys are welcome to do your own research on testosterone and how which foods and how to maintain a healthy lifestyle to raise your testosterone levels. So, hey Barbie, how you doing? Could you tell me if you got the answer of it? Oh, you're talking to Robert. Okay. So now the second is nurturing the soul. So you can live in optimal testosterone states in your spiritual, because physical balance is only half of it. The other half is energetic discipline, teaching the mind how to use testosterone's abilities, the fire, without letting fear hijack it. See, fear is the ego's reaction to power, and testosterone is your power. When testosterone rises, the ego interrupts it as control and wants to dominate. So you might find yourself, your ego trying to self-sabotage you and cause you grief, where you might just start retreating into sadness and aggression. Whatever is your baseline, you might just feel sad for no reason at all. Well, so it's important for you to understand that this could be, it's not this all the time, but it could be testosterone levels. So your work is to transmute the drive into purpose. So be mindfully aware, just as, I'm going to tell you, on my cycles. I, as a teen and as well in my early 20s and even in my 30s, I used to get really bad mood swings, really, really bad. And I do believe that the trauma, you know, that I was hanging on to would come out in these mood swings. And I had to, I became aware as I read in scripture that God abhors anger. So I became aware of my anger when I read that. I knew I had anger issues, but I didn't know how to deal with it. And when I read that, that scared me. And so I started taking a look at what I ate, take a look at what I did. And I noticed like I ate horribly. I was eating my feels. I would eat Cheetos and junk food, 3 chocolate bars a day. I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't care what I felt like. And so I started monitoring and taking a look at my moods and really like I did my own anger management research, and I wrote a little booklet on anger management, and that was for myself because I just like I got to get a hold of this. Hormones or no hormones, I can't use my monthly cycles as an excuse for me to rage. Like, no, like that's just unacceptable. I'm hurting the people that I love. So it's important for us to see that when we are becoming agitated and how and what's our triggers, being mindful. And it's your work to transmute this egoic nature and spring it into purpose, like make a different choice. So spiritual habits will really help you here because meditation and breath work, fear is stored in the amygdala and breath neutralizes it. So try slow nasal breathing. Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. This lowers cortisol and harmonizes testosterone with oxytocin, creating calm, strength instead of aggression. And number 2, seek out purposeful discipline. The masculine energy needs a mission, so go find one. Without one, testosterone turns inward and becomes frustration or anxiety. So go ahead and define your why. Each action becomes sacred service, not ego validation. And then you can transmute this testosterone and this dysfunction through movement. Channel your energy into intentional physical action, such as martial arts or weightlifting or exercise, dance, even creative building, working with your hands, going and grounding, walk barefoot in the sand or in the grass. Physical mastery teaches emotional control. This is how we become self-control over our bodies. And number 4, use your testosterone, your self-awareness, and this nurturing quality of the divine masculine to honor the feminine within. Whether you're male or female, balance assertion with compassion. Be compassionate to yourself. Use prayer. Use self-reflection and gratitude. This softens testosterone's edge into clarity. And take a conscious reset. Rest is not laziness. Sometimes we just work, and we burn ourselves out and we don't take time to rest. And maybe sometimes we sit there on our chairs and we're watching TV or something and we feel really guilty we're not doing something. Well, rest, you gotta rest. Even God took, a day of rest, right? So it's important for us to rest. It's restoration. Without it, cortisol rises and testosterone fails. So take a Sabbath, take some solitude, go spend time in nature. This is medicine for your masculine. So when testosterone is in the divine state, it builds confidence without arrogance. It fuels purpose without pressure. It protects without control. It leads without domination. When the body is nourished and the soul is calm, testosterone becomes holy, sacred. It's the energy of creation. As if the ego gets a hold of it, it uses that energy for destruction. So living in optimal testosterone is living without fear, because fear is ego defending the illusion, and testosterone in divine alignment defends truth. You're not meant to suppress testosterone. You're meant to spiritualize it, to turn raw drive into creative direction with God leading the way. So living in balance with this sacred energy requires consciousness. The ego feeds on testosterone when fear rules your mind. It twists drive into control and courage into competition. But when we live mindfully, when we're aware, we breathe deeply, we regulate our breath, we remember that our power is not ours alone. It's God walking with us and through us and for us. So testosterone has the ability to give us courage to protect. It gives us the strength to persevere, the passion to create, and the discipline to stay aligned with truth. It's fearlessness, not because fear is gone, but because love has taken command. It is to rise every day, grounded, knowing who you are, where you come from, and what's going on in your thoughts and your feelings as you take control of your body, mind, and soul. And you know that your body is a vessel for divine strength. So preserve it for the divine. And then you'll see that your purpose is to use the strength that you gain in service to the light, in service to God, in service to yourself, in service to other people. See, ego thrives in a body with unbalanced testosterone levels. And when we are balanced, God, well, he takes over. And he puts ego in its place. So if you're struggling with, your ego and it's hard to get rid of, well, maybe change your diet. Maybe go for longer walks or decide to engage in exercise that is, aerobic exercise. Maybe you need something a little bit more aggressive. Maybe you need to be more creative. Maybe you need to dance a little bit more. Maybe you need to sing a little bit more. And maybe you just need to, paint your nails, get girly a little bit more. Guys, no. But, maybe just, play dress up for a day, girls, Guys, guys and girls, have a pajama party, stay in your pajamas for the day or something, And men, okay, here's what both men and women can do. You guys can give yourselves a foot massage, a pedicure. Oh my goodness. Sitting there with the hot water and you've got your bucket of hot water or warm water, and you've got your essential oils in the water and you're soaking your feet. You get your feet out of that bath and you rub some nice peppermint foot scrub on them and give yourself a massage, and really with your thumbs really get into the sole of your feet and your heels and in between your toes. Oh, it just feels so good. And you're not going to want to walk on your feet. So yeah, just pamper yourself. So just pamper yourself. So yeah. So thanks for coming in, everyone. And I hope this has helped you because, you know, the ego, like, okay, so your ego may not seem as bad as the narcissist, but it is. You just can't see it because you're too close to it. You're living inside, you're living from the perspective of your ego, so you can't see that you're doing damage to yourself. You can't see that it's harming you. But yeah, I guarantee that we all have been competitive. I mean, we've been competitive, maybe not with other people, but with ourselves, the perfectionist, you know, have to always strive to people please. We have to, you know, do our best. And even when we do our best, it's not good enough. We should have done more. Yeah, that's a competitive nature right there. And, you know, we don't nurture ourselves enough. We don't tell ourselves it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. We don't nurture ourselves to say, you know what, you did the best that you could. Give yourself a break today. No, we just allow our egos to shame us. And we tap into that shame and we feel guilty and we feel rotten to the core. That's the ego hijacking our testosterone. So if we can regulate our levels with healthy eating, with diet and exercise, getting the proper amount of sleep, taking time out to meditate and to pray, take time out to read your Bibles, take time out to understand that Jesus maps out our behavior for us. He teaches us how to behave. Galatians teaches us how to walk in self-control, get rid of the debauchery, the sexual debauchery, the witchcraft, the divisions, the factions. Get rid of it. Stop doing it. It's not necessary. And you notice the narcissist, they love to gossip. They love gossip. So, with that said, if you guys want to talk to me one-on-one, you are welcome to make an appointment. The link is in the description of the video and also in the chat. And touching my feet is like having a workout. Interesting. Monk mode is so awesome. Yes. I do more of JPEG run. Oh, jog. I read that wrong. I'm like, JPEG, what? No. So Lindsay says, I do more of a jog, run till I'm tired, then take an Uber, bike home, city life. Yeah, I took my bike out today and I had some music. I downloaded some music and I pushed myself on my bike today and I just put it on a tough gear and I just pedaled and I just like, oh, this feels good. And it was early in this morning and I just like, I love exercising. Either I exercise I love to exercise during the morning or in the evening. So yeah, those are my times when I love to exercise. But yeah. So we keep ourselves healthy and we are going to be fine. God will take care of the rest. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Okay, so I said we were going to read John chapter 1, verse 2, or chapter, what was it, chapter 2 tonight? Because the other night we read John chapter 1. And now we want to read John chapter 2. Yeah. So we did a Bible study on Jesus changing the water into wine. We did a Bible study on that on on Sunday. And that was in depth. But we're just going to read it. and because there's more to the scripture. So if you guys are ready, and thank you for joining me. And Barbie says, Shannon, do you have any chapter about love in the Bible that you could explain? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. That when you apply to yourself, you will then start adopting the character of Jesus Christ. And that is what you learn to love yourself with. When you adhere to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8, love is patient, love is kind, it is not rude, it does not boast. When you start applying that to yourself, you're learning to not judge yourself. And then you start applying it to other people. And you learn not to judge other people. And then when you go into prayer and you take that unconditionally loving character to God in your prayer, and you hold nothing against God, and you show God kindness, you show him favor and love, you don't boast to him, you treat him the way that you are learning to treat yourself. You're treating God the way that you've learned to treat your neighbor. And you watch miracles start happening. You watch the things that you ask for, you'll start getting. When you stay in love, you can't leave love at the altar of God and leave God's throne room and then live in your ego. This is a daily exercise. This is a daily practice for the rest of your life, unconditional love. So thanks for that question. So John chapter 2, Jesus changes water into wine. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to his servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. So you notice that Jesus didn't go, abracadabra, blah. He didn't do any spell casting or anything like that. He didn't touch the water as far as we know. He told the disciples to act, and they did. It was their act in faith that turned the water into wine. So they did, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink, but you have saved the best until now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. So if you want to get in on that wonderful in-depth Bible study we did on Sunday, was the wineskins and the banquet, Jesus turning the water into the wine. Very insightful, very awesome. I'm still reeling from it. I still my mind is still mush. So after this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples, and there they stayed a few days. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market. His disciples remembered that it is written, zeal for your house will consume me. And the Jews then responded to him, what sign can you show us to prove your authority to do all of this? Jesus answered them, destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days. He was talking about himself. They replied, it has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you are going to raise it in 3 days? But the temple he had spoken of was his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. Now, while he was in Jerusalem at the Passover festival, many people saw the signs he was performing and believed in his name. But Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. He did not need any testimony about mankind, for he knew what was in each person. And that's the end of the chapter. We'll read chapter 3 tomorrow. So Jesus could read minds. Jesus could tell the intentions of people. He saw people's spiritual fruit. The truth. See, when you're living in the truth, you have this knowing. Because people who are not living in the truth are living opposite. If you're living in the truth and people around you are not living in the truth, they're living opposite to you. So obviously their actions are really obvious. But the reason why it's difficult for us to see people's fruit is because it's not so obvious, because we're like them. This is why God tells us to come up out of this world. Come up spiritually. Get rid of the heart of the world. Get rid of the character of the world, the egoic nature. So, lots to unpack in Scripture. If you're willing to study it and read it and learn from it, the Scripture is a blessing to us. God has not left us unaware. He has not left us to, well, he says he's sending us out like lambs to the slaughter, but he hasn't left us ill-equipped. It's just that we have learned to adopt the ego as our character, as our truth, and the ego is a liar. So I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure to talk with you tonight again. And it's good to see all of you guys. Hi, everyone. I can feel people's vibration now, and it's not comfortable most of the time. Exactly. Right on. Yeah. And, I'm noticing with myself too, the more that you align your life with God. Now, like, this wasn't like last year, I never came across this, but I've been growled at. I've been, just approached in weird ways. Like people are looking at you and they sneer and they growl as you walk by, or they just start getting all weird, like they start getting jittery or something when they walk by you. It's really weird, and I walked by somebody, this was months ago, this past summer. I walked by somebody and they were on the other side of the road, but he was coming, my way, and I was going in his direction. So we were, going in the opposite direction of each other. But there was somebody on the same side of the road as me on the sidewalk, and he was, a few houses ahead of me doing some lawn work. And the guy shouts to me from across the road, and he starts saying all these obscenities, not about me, but about the person that was in front of me minding his own business, doing yard work, and telling me not to talk to him because that person is a son of a gun and son of a bee sting, speaking of bad words. And I'm just like, wow, like this guy was ignoring me, but as soon as I passed him, he started talking. And I was just like, wow, this is like Jesus in me. I'm protected, yeah. And it's like, poor guy, he could have very well have costed me, but no, he didn't speak anything negative about me. He was speaking negative about somebody else. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And I've never had that before. So we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of people hepped up on drugs, and we're just going to see the lack of common sense coming out. It's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better, because this is the great apostasy. I'm convinced that the Holy Spirit has left some people. And this is the great apostasy, where people are turning away from God, and we're seeing it. How can we not see it? And the more that you follow the truth, the more the lies of how we used to live become more apparent. And I just like, I see people do things, and I'm just like, I used to like doing that. I used to like watching those shows. I used to, wow, I used to drink. What? It's totally not me now. And I just like, I can't believe I used to do that. And I like the things that we've done, but we've had to do them in order so that we can experience God's goodness and but it's just, life is getting weird. So protect yourselves. Pray up. Stay prayered up. Okay, I'm just rambling now. I'm sorry, guys. I ramble. I do that. I love talking. I love talking about God, and I love talking with you guys. You guys are wonderful company, and thank you for showing up tonight. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening if you guys can. Too many weirdos, yeah. If I could move, I know I want to move out to the country so bad. I want to so bad. It's my prayer that we all get a chance to move out into the country and live like Grizzly Adams. Yeah. All right, you guys. Sweet dreams. God bless. I love you. And Andrea, prayers for you, girl. Prayers for all of you. Hey, Terry. Nice to see you. Hi. I can't see your name. Infa. Hi. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. God bless. Links are in the description of this video. Thank you, Resistor. Thank you, moderator. See you guys tomorrow afternoon. God bless and good night. Sweet dreams. Mwah. Bye-bye.